Hello, people. I'm back with a recording today. One is a channeled message, and the other one is something that I've done that I feel that needs to be discussed. But I shall come to that in a second. I'm just going to read my statement of purpose as usual. I can't even get my words out today. What this channel is about. This channel is supported by God based on my experience of witchcraft and the awakening process over time, past and present. The practice of witchcraft is real and affects many people's lives negatively within this timeline. I am calling these entities out into the open to express their actions towards the vulnerable, the innocent, and those unaware of their actions. These people, spirits of deception and envy, behaviours are of old. Support is offered to entities who rebuke the dark, wanting to return to the light. God continues his protection of the chosen ones and individuals of the light who visit this channel to express themselves and to receive support. I declare what I am about to talk about is the truth, the whole truth, in terms of my experience, so help me God. That is about my integrity. Now I have a channeled message which says, chosen ones, individuals of the light, you have experienced enough to date in terms of your awakening experience to determine what you are seeing, feeling, emotionally and mentally is real. You really do not require any further evidence. I realise this has been a long, difficult road, but the opposition is and has been aware of your steps and plans made for you. Your forward movement are individual, and I am again asking you not to measure your success with what you view of others around you. Your plans are strategic, and your future is secure. What is continually required of you is your surrender. Without this, forward movement is made extremely difficult and challenging. Do you understand? I witnessed the moment where you almost gave up. You are standing on the edge of fulfillment. I need you to see the delay of what it truly was, the womb of your miracle. Nothing is late in my kingdom. I don't operate by human expectation. I move by eternity, and when I arrive, I don't just meet needs, I exceed them. What I am preparing for you has been touched by heaven's hands. It's wrapped in layers of grace. It's marked by favour. You don't earn, but I am giving away because I love you. And when it happens, it will be so evident, so precise that you will not, or that you will no longer question why you had to wait. You no longer wonder if I heard you. You will realise I wasn't delaying your promise. I was multiplying its impact. This is the final stretch. The silence that feels heavy is only because the atmosphere is thick with glory. Don't interpret stillness with inactivity. The movement just before breakthrough often feels the most still. That's when the ground shifts without noise and the root grows deeper in the unseen. You may not feel the change yet, but it's here and it will touch everything. The timing, the alignment, the provision, it's all converging. What you have been waiting for isn't just on the way, it's already in motion. So don't let your weariness of the wait blind you to what's ahead. Okay, so that's the channel message. For me, as I've made aware quite a few times, that the awakening process is really quite difficult to navigate, and it's not until actually recently I have had confidence in my experience and how I'm managing myself now. It has been difficult. I don't think anybody who is going through the awakening process could say that it's not difficult. It's not, and on an energetic level, it's difficult to understand sometimes, and particularly when I get my downloads, even that sometimes it's quite difficult to interpret, really, and put into words. But those who are experiencing downloads and trying to interpret them will understand that. I'm not sort of less than people that are not receiving downloads, but I suppose most people in some degree are receiving downloads if you're processing through the awakening experience. So for me, I'm going to call this chosen ones. Whatever you experiencing, I believe you. You're not on your own. And the reason I'm doing this is because we are, in effect, in isolation. And depending on your own experience in terms of your life now and coping with the awakening process, it can be difficult, particularly if you are in a relationship or you're married, or you've got some other responsibility besides you, and the other side of you, or the person that you are looking after, or your partner, is not really supportive in terms of your experience, and I've experienced that, and it's not easy to manage, really, to be honest with you. So before I start waffling on about nothing, I'm just going to read what I wrote. To the chosen ones, individuals of the light, who are still not acknowledging their experience is real. In my experience, I am here to inform you it is time to wake up. What you are experiencing is your reality. You are being re-educated via the awakening process. This process is not harming to you. However, there are individuals around you who are intent on harming you. You must be aware of this. God is and will be your protection. These people, whether family members, wife, husband, cousin, etc., they appear to be relentless. Surrender yourself to God for assistance to resolve the spiritual warfare affecting you currently. Chosen ones, individuals of the light, should you not believe in what you have been experiencing? Why not? What will it take for you to believe? What is it that you do not understand? Take some time to know God and explore your inner self with Him. Speak out loud or write to Him. He will hear you and reply. Spiritual warfare is depressing. Not only makes you feel sad, it's difficult to sustain your thoughts, and there is a feeling of just existing. It's like your inner self has been removed, which can make you moody. Stuck is another word that I can use. Chosen ones, individuals of the light. No one is going to be able to help you like God and or your spiritual team. And that's how I feel. Nobody's going to be able to listen to you. Nobody's going to understand exactly what you're going through. And it is really quite difficult. The person that I was talking to just refused to engage with me, refused to even consider what I was experiencing was real. Shame. Faith in yourself. Do you believe that you are having an experience? Can you evidence your experience? Write them down. Speak them out loud. Are you experiencing supernatural events? Write them down. Who have you been talking to? Are they supportive of your experience? What is this person saying to you? Are they making your situation worse? What is your situation? Faith in God. I cannot make you believe in God. This has to come from you. Have you experienced God's intervening at any time? What was your experience? How did He first become involved? Do you believe in this experience, and why? Your experience overall, or I can just say my experience overall actually. But anyway, are you able to function daily? Are you able to get up? Well, let me say, because of your experience in terms of the awakening and all the things that you experience around the awakening process, people will quite willing to say to you that you are not functioning adequately mentally because of your experience. But it's up to you to determine for yourself whether you are managing the awakening experience adequately for you to continue to function on a daily basis. And this is what I mean. Are you functioning daily? Are you able to get up to go to work? Are you functioning around whatever your career position is? Are you still engaging with people, or are you acting funny, or what is your situation? Why, so this is what you need to know for yourself in terms of the awakening process, and evidencing for yourself that you are a sound person. You need to find the evidence. You can't just go along on a daily basis and not think about what is happening to you outside of the normal functioning of your normal day. Are you able to separate your experience? So, for example, I might wake up in the middle of the morning, in the middle of the night, and I might be experiencing a shift. And, when I've experienced a shift, it probably goes on for a couple of hours, and I'm going through different things that the shift is expressing to me, or my actions or my feelings around that shift. And then the next day or the morning you might be going to work, or I might be going shopping, or I might be going to the bank or something like that. Are you able, following your experience in terms of having a shift, able to function on a daily basis? Are you analytical of your experience? Are you aware that there are famous people who have also experienced awakening? And another thing I'd like to say actually is that what I tend to do is I do a lot of scribing, but I do a lot of scribing for the channel anyway. So for example, this is what I've written for the channel message. This is what I've written. And then for this one, this is what I've written. And it goes on. And I've got a file. I've actually got a filing cabinet that I put these all in now, really. And for me, my experience is real. I analyse myself on a daily basis in terms of what I'm actually feeling. I know what I'm feeling. I can express what I'm feeling. Not that I can actually go out and talk to somebody else about this now, because it depends on who you're talking to, whether they are going to take on board what you're actually saying. So you have to be careful about who you are actually expressing your experience to, particularly in terms of people that are trying to hold you back. Black sheep of the family, people that are perhaps draining your energy, people that are smiling in your face but being venomous behind your back. And I hope you know what I'm talking about here. So it's about being analytical of your experience. It's about evidence, how you are evidencing your experiences and how you are functioning on a daily basis, which is really quite important. Okay. During my shift, because I had another shift again early this morning, but during that process, I was informed that when I actually wake up in the morning, today for me was going to be a different day. And it has been a different day, actually. I experienced another spiritual warfare this morning, and I woke up with a shock. And it was, and I don't know where I was. I really don't know where I was, but this person came and got me out of this room, which was really quite small, and led me out into it looked like a corridor, and in the corridor there was another two black people in the corridor, along with the person who guided me out into the corridor. And then that's when I woke up with a shock, but I woke up with a pain to my stomach. and that was about 3:30 this morning, and I really haven't been back to sleep since then. When I woke up, it was a jolt when I woke up, and the pain to my stomach was, I wouldn't say it was really quite severe, but it was. I was certainly uncomfortable with that. The feeling of being jerked out of my sleep, and the feeling of being, I wouldn't even say attacked, but the whole experience was really quite weird, and that's been with me all day. If I'm being honest, it's been with me all day. But I was told beforehand that today was going to be a different day. So, and what I have noticed is that the spiritual warfare that I've been experiencing up until this morning, it's not present anymore. I've been monitoring my thoughts all day because, I do that really quite regularly, and I've really become adept in terms of catching negative things that come to me about me, and I've been able to then send it off in a different direction. But today I've been actually clear of any sort of negative comments about me, whether people or would say that was spiritual warfare, or whether somebody would say that would be me talking to myself in terms of that, really. But for me, it's spiritual warfare. So for me today, that's been a really quite of a relief, because I can now, or today anyway, I've been able just to relax, although I've still been mindful about what I'm thinking, but on a general note, I've been really quite relaxed, and I haven't been this relaxed for a long time, for a very long time. So I haven't discussed these before, really, because they've been really quite personal to me, and it depicts to me how long I have been within the awakening process, really. I can remember as a kid some of the things that I'm experiencing now, but as a child, it scared me, and it scared me. And I remember once that I screamed out, and my mum had to come into my room to me. So for me, this has been going on since a child. I put here, for years I have been saying to myself, I will not achieve. And I have been saying to myself, I will not achieve. This was first said to me by my parents, that he will never amount to anything. But for me, having heard that, it's something that has haunted me throughout my life. And from time to time, that's come to me and said that I will not amount to anything. And it's weird. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. It's not nice. And it really has affected me, particularly in terms of my education. I put here also, I will not be able to read properly. And even now, even though I am making an effort in terms of this channel to actually read out loud, before I actually start the process of reading out loud, I get really quite nervous, and I put words into what I've wrote that aren't there, and that's due to my nervous, but I'm seem to be overcoming that. But that again is tantamount to spiritual warfare. This one is weird, absolutely weird, and I've thought about whether I should actually really mention this, but as this channel is about the awakening process and witchcraft, and the detrimental things people say to me or to you within that, I thought, I really have to say, I really just have to come out and say what I'm going to say. So this is something that has been with me as a child up until the awakening process, and it's no longer with me. I would be talking to someone, and all of a sudden I would, in my mind, say to myself, smack that person in the face for no reason at all. And I still don't know. I mean, since my involvement within the awakening process, it's gone. I've not had them sort of thoughts for a long time, which says to me that it is related. That thought is related to what I'm experiencing now. But the only thing is, I'm no longer having them thoughts. Or the next thing would happen to me is that I'd be walking by a dog, and in my mind it would say, kick that dog, kick that dog. People, the awakening process is, for me, certainly a learning process. My experiences within the awakening process have been for me amazing. Although it has been challenging, although I've been subject to witchcraft, although I've had these different bodily experiences, seeing energy, seeing any supernatural stuff. Really, I've seen. For me, it's been all educational. Where I was 2.5 months ago to where I am now, it's absolutely amazing. 2.5 months ago, I was a nervous wreck. I was in the middle of spells being cast on me. I was, it's just bizarre. So now, compared to what I was 2.5 months ago, is completely somebody completely different. I'm getting back to where I was before the awakening process, being honest. So kick that dog, This is mild in terms of what I have been asked to do previously, really. And I'm giving you the mild things in terms of, smack that person in the face, kick that dog. But some of the thoughts that I had were really quite bizarre, people, really quite bizarre. And I can only put it down to spiritual warfare, being honest with you. And, it then highlights to me how strong I have been as an individual, going not only as a child, but also as a teenager up into where I am now. I'm blessed. I really am blessed. I need to say also that although I said that, I'd be talking to somebody, and in my mind, whilst talking to that person, would say, smack that person in the face or kick that dog. I have never, ever done anything like that. Ever. So I've gone on to say, chosen ones, individuals of the light. Clearly, I cannot tell you what to do. However, for me, try to establish a relationship with God. If you don't want to say God, say source. If you don't want to say source or God, say creator, whoever that person is for you. But to be quite honest with you, going through this process, the awakening process, I cannot see that an individual could actually go through the awakening process on their own without support from God the Almighty, from the Creator, from Source. I just think it's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Because, entities are out to prevent you from reaching your goal, your purpose. And there are traps laid out for you. God is the person who steers you away from them traps within the awakening process. So for me, looking back at my own experience in terms of some of the things that I've encountered within the awakening process that God has supported me to navigate, for me, it's impossible that I could actually progress through the awakening process on my own. That's how I feel, and I feel really quite strong in that statement I've just made. I can assure you this will be the best thing you will do for yourself whilst progressing through the awakening process, is to establish a relationship with God. So, how am I feeling today? Read the awakening process. Well, okay. Looking back at my life, I am of the view that I have been monitored by the awakening processes throughout. However, my experience or journey has increased over the past 2 to 3 years. I have gone from research to experience, back to research. This involves meeting manipulative people, witches, low density individuals, and demonic events. The process has been difficult emotionally and mentally. The process has also had an effect on my body. And what I'm talking about here is that I believe that somebody had cast an image spell on me, and over a 2-week period I must have put on 2 to 3 stone, which for me was impossible, and my body still isn't right now, but I've lost the majority of that weight I had put on. The awakening experience for me has been educational about me from early age to present, where this process will eventually take me, I cannot answer. I am here for the long term, for the duration, because what I am experiencing is real. I know it's real. My body, my mind tells me it's real. The experiences that I've had is telling me that it's real. The people that I've met, not only demonically, but also people that are categorized as chosen ones also. This, for me, is real. And I am going to be here for the duration. Because I think that as time progresses, more and more people will start to wake up within the awakening process. And I'm just going to be here. And I also feel that there are hundreds of people that have started the process in terms of the awakening and are stuck in some way, because it is quite easy to get stuck within this process and not be able to find your way back out. That might sound a bit weird, but my experience tells me that this is the case. And I think that these people need some help. Then they need to come out. So that is me for today. So the overall message for me would be to believe in your experience, but at the same time, be careful who you talk to, because there are people out there that are wanting to harm you, end your life. For what? In my experience, it's only about money. Mostly it's about money. There is quite a lot of envy in there, but money in terms of people's inheritance, which I have not really touched on really at this moment in time. I will probably touch on that at some point in the future, but there are a lot of families with inheritance that are still present and needs to be claimed. Do you know, another thing I find really quite funny also is entities. How do they know what's coming up for chosen ones? That I don't understand, and that's what I'm going to be trying to look into really. How do these people know what is coming for us? What inheritance money that is coming? What breakthrough are you entitled to, and how that is going to materialize? It's all really quite bizarre for me, and I'm sure over time I will make some headway in that really, but it's all starts from the spiritual realm, the unseen, before coming to the material world. Anyway, before I start waffling on anymore, that is me for today. If you resonate with what I'm saying, please give a like, a comment, or better for me would be a subscription. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.